But in that 22nd chapter of Luke's Gospel, we learn that there is a dispute among the 12. They were arguing about which one was the greatest. Well, that argument has come up before. We see it in the 9th chapter of Luke's Gospel, when they are outside of Capernaum, and they began arguing that way as to which one was the greatest. So I think we get a little picture here of this group of apostles. They were the apostles now. He had a lot of disciples, but these were the apostles that gathered for the Last Supper. So we know that in that group, there was probably an undercurrent of dissension, probably envy, and others vying for one-upmanship. And of course, we see that with Judas Iscariot. I mean, he wanted things his way, and I'm sure some of the other apostles wanted things their way. So if you keep this in mind, of this sort of simmering undercurrent with the apostles as we go through the events of tonight, I think you'll understand a little better what actually occurred. Well, the disciples came to Jerusalem for the Last Supper. They came to the upper room. And you know, they traveled along roads that probably were not very good roads. In fact, they were probably typically of the time very dirty roads covered with the dust of the desert, the dirt of the desert, and the droppings of animals. And so that's why at every household there was a water pot and a servant that was there to help the people wash their feet. Well, the disciples didn't have a servant assigned to them. I'm sure when they went into rooms and buildings after a journey, they probably shared that task. But tonight, nobody did that. They simply tromped into the upper room and all took their places. And they remained unwashed until Jesus took up the tasks, much to their embarrassment and their shame. You see, it was very hierarchical. No master ever washed the feet of a servant. But of course, Jesus never sends us a simple message, does he? His purpose is to teach his disciples about the way it is to be with Christians, to be with his followers. You see, he was telling them that they're not like the Pharisees and the scribes and the other rabbis that lorded over people because of their hierarchical nature. With you, it must be different. Let the one who would be the greatest among you serve. Let the one who would be master be the slave. You call me Lord and Master, and yet I have washed your feet. And of course, he's teaching him what a Christian community is supposed to be about. We're here to wash the feet of the community, aren't we? We're here to spread the good news of the gospel. We're here to wash the feet of the world. I've been watching for these few years now Pope Francis and what he's doing in the hierarchy of the Roman Catholic Church. He's essentially telling the church hierarchy, yes, they're there to do the business that they're assigned to do, but they're also there to wash the feet of the world, as Jesus does. And when he did wash those feet, when Jesus did wash those feet, I doubt if he ever looked up into the faces of those whose feet he was washing. I'm sure he didn't look up with Peter, even if he recognized the feet of Judas Iscariot. He washes the feet of the world, and he doesn't care what color you are, what race you are, how rich you are, how poor you are, how beautiful you are. His love goes out to everyone. He charges us to do the same. This is my body, which is given for you. This is my blood, which is shed for all. I wash humankind's feet covered with the grime of sin, its indignity, and I do it all equally. This is the first lesson the disciples learned, much to their embarrassment and shame. This is a summation of the gospel, the end product of 3 years of knowing Jesus to serve all of humankind. If we aspire to be the greatest, then we have to get down on our hands and knees and wash the feet of others. I think there's a second lesson here. By my taking this bread and this wine, sharing it with you, and washing your feet, I want you to understand what this Eucharist means. This Eucharist is forever a living symbol that I am in your midst, urging you to go out, spread the gospel, and wash the feet of the world. And when he took the cup, he probably held it up saying, "This is my blood poured out for you and for many," just as parents pour out their lives for their children. A cup is empty just as we are emptied in old age with sickness and declining health. A cup is filled when we encounter the living Christ and when we come to each other each new day with its opportunities and its blessings. A cup is held out as we encounter others and share our lives with them. A cup is broken as we are broken by sin and life's continuity is broken by death. But God's love has the power to make it all whole again. To share the common cup means that we share life with others in this community of faith in the presence of Jesus Christ, just as the disciples did 2,000 years ago. So Jesus in our midst urges us, take your body and give it for others, and break it for others in love. Take the cup of your blood and pour it out to help others so that fractured mankind can become whole again. Whenever you eat this bread and drink this cup, you do it truly in remembrance of me. On this one of the holiest nights of the year, I pray that you make a commitment as Jesus would have you do. As his living community here in South County, they will know that we are Christians by our love for others. And as St. Paul tells us, for as often as you eat this bread and drink this cup, you proclaim the Lord's death until he comes. Amen.